So we were just talking about this thing that happens
Yeah.
when you just start, two people just start liking each other, and then one of them goes like, "You are the one. Congratulations! It's your lucky day. I love you, and therefore I'm going to project all of my attachment wounds onto you."
Usually that has an effect of on me of causing me to step back, and I usually just end it right away.
What
even
happens?
even if I like them inside, I just feel like overwhelmed, and like I know it's not about me, and that doesn't. I can't really sink into getting to know them because they're already projecting all this stuff onto me, and then I know that that's what they're doing, and then I'm like, I usually just want to get away.
Has anybody gotten really mad at you or like pathologized you when you did that?
Yeah, and I think that it hurts their feelings, but I'm usually really fast to just like, okay, I don't feel the same way about you. This is over. I just don't like the responsibility of their feelings, and I don't want to hurt anybody. And I think that's really what's the most important thing is for me. I feel like it's a Band-Aid. I'm just going to rip that Band-Aid off at ASAP and get rid of that because I don't want to hurt them any further. And if they're that invested and I'm not feeling the same way, which I wouldn't feel that way until more
You
more
wouldn't
time.
feel that way.
I would never feel that way that fast because I just don't feel that way that fast. And so
Really? Haven't you ever met somebody and then like really liked them right away?
I have. I mean, there are cases where I have felt really into someone, but I try to hold back. And
how do you do
get to
that
know them.
inside? Because we talk about that a lot in the classes. Like I call it calibration or titration. What does it feel like?
Well,
to you?
I think the biggest thing is, what am I projecting onto them? Do I really know them? Taking time to like get to know them, and just seeing, kind of just I just say to myself, I don't really know this person yet. I might be excited and I might be into them, but I don't really know them yet, and it does take time, and so I just say that to myself.
And you haven't gone to bed with those people. Like,
no, I do not. I do not go to it. If I was into someone, I would. If I was into them, I would. If I felt that way, and they felt that way, and it was a match, then I would. I have, and that does cause problems.
Like what?
Well, I get attached.
Yeah.
And then so in the case of somebody doing that,
you might be on the other side of that then, because if you've gone to bed with them,
then I start getting hurt, and then I have to deal with the pain. Like, oh my gosh, like this person doesn't feel the same way about me that I feel about them, and I'm really into if we've gone to bed and I've slept with a person, I'm usually like it escalates, and then I'm in trouble. That's not a good situation for me. But if I'm ambiguous at all and they're really into me, it could have been that something could have grown. Like if they had slowed down. But if they're coming at me like a train, I'm not feeling the exact same way, which I honestly don't typically feel the same way if someone's coming at me like a train. I don't, because I just the sense of responsibility just is too much.
Yeah.
And I start to really, hey, I'm living my life. I've got my thing going on. I'm not ready to marry this person. Like I'm not ready to carry the responsibility of this person's feelings yet.
So what about on the other side of it when like after you've slept with somebody, do you feel like then you start going like a train and then the other
I
person?
do inside, but I'm really careful not to fantasize. I have a saying: learn to love reality. Stay in reality. Learn to love reality. And I just try to remember, like, what's reality? Reality is that I just met this person 4 weeks ago. Reality is that I don't quite know them yet over the long haul. And I always think it takes to really know someone
4
a year.
weeks ago? Are you not really a lesbian? Aren't we supposed to you call on the second date?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that I
Show
don't
me your
do that stuff.
lesbian card.
I'm not saying I don't do that stuff, but if I do it, I kind of do stay. I try to stay a little bit like, this is a risk. It's okay, but it could go sour. And you really don't. I don't think you know someone until you've had a major fight, and you've done the 4 seasons. You've done the 4 seasons. You have a major disagreement. Then you kind of get to know the person more.
So this is this huge challenge that I'm always teaching about in Conscious Girlfriend Academy, because it's exactly what you're talking about, and I've also been on both sides. And what has typically happened for me is that there's something really mutual.
Mm-hmm.
We're both there. We're both really
there.
into
That's
each
the tricky,
other.
Yeah, that's the tricky one.
We do start being sexual.
Yeah.
We do start being girlfriends. And then some of the time the other person has really grabbed on. Like this one time where this woman, like after 2 weeks, she said, we have to talk on the phone at least an hour a day, and I have to be able to feel you thinking about me when we're not talking on the phone.
If somebody
And-
said that to me, it might shut me down.
It did.
Yeah.
It did shut me down. So, but then on the other side of it, I've also been the one where everything is great. And, there was one time where I was in a situation where I had to move anyway. And this woman was like an hour and a half away from me. And I was like, oh, well, let me just rent a place
Yeah.
near you
Yeah.
instead of, several hours away from you, just so we can get to know each other better.
Right.
And for me, I was not assuming that the relationship would go forward, but for her, that shut her down
Yeah.
in exactly the way that we're talking about now.
Yeah, for that, I mean, I think open and honest conversations, as long as I felt like they were doing it for them, then that might not shut me down. But if
Yeah.
somebody is really, really over the top into me and I'm not there, then that is going to shut me down. And if I am there and they're like that, then it can sometimes cause me to, it can sometimes cause me to shut down because I get overwhelmed.
So it's just such a delicate dance at first when we're getting to know each other. And I mean, so often in lesbian relationships, there's so much that starts chemically happening, all
Yeah.
these bonding hormones, but then we also have all of our protective mechanisms. And so it can be a wild ride at first, where it's like, okay, are you going to glom on too much? Am I going to glom on too much? Or are we both going to somehow, in this incredible chemical rush, somehow each stay grounded and keep getting to know each other?
I have seen it where I've been really into somebody and I haven't said anything like I love you and all that, but I've just wanted to be with them. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? What are you doing? And
you've been like texting them every day.
yeah, like I try to another rule I have is reciprocal. I try to match energy. And but maybe I'm like reciprocal to, like, they text me, I text back
Right away.
like, right away. And I'm not good at hiding my feelings, so if it's like, it might be like obvious, and that has had a sense, like, people start to feel, they can feel overwhelmed by it. And then in that case, I think it's just, typically that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's really sad when, as you're saying, something could have worked,
Maybe could have.
but because one person just gets on that train too fast, then it just wrecks it.
Yeah.
And of course, some of the time it also wouldn't be workable no matter what, but then it just gets like the head-on collision at a higher speed.
Yeah. I think, staying grounded, making sure I'm doing my life, what's my life, staying connected with my family, my friends, doing the things that I want to do. If I was getting ready to go on a trip or I was thinking about it, can keep going on that trip, stuff like that. And I find that distance helps a lot.
I thought distance made the heart grow fonder.
I think for me, distance grounds me. Distance reminds me of who I was before I met this person.
Well, and part of the thing is what you do when you have that distance, because I have been this person in the past, and I've also seen people be this person where, sure, we're not seeing each other, maybe we're not even talking for a few days, but all I'm doing is thinking about the person, I'm journaling about
Right.
them,
Yeah.
I'm talking to my friends about them, I'm like Googling them if they're, or like I'm, rereading their texts to me.
I try not to do that
and-
because I've done that in the past, and one of the things that I had a situation of before was that I was creating kind of an unreality. Like I was creating this like fantasy life, and what I realized is that I need to, I wasn't with that. I don't want to think about someone I'm not actually with a lot. If I'm not with them, I'm not going to think about them. And this is just, it's really hard, and I do think doing meditation helps a lot.
And
because
you wouldn't be like staying up late at night texting somebody for hours.
I
Come
would,
on,
I
be
would,
honest.
I would do all that. I would.
I remember.
Yes, I would do all that. I'm not saying I wouldn't do that, but I do remember trying to pace myself with you. Like wait a little while, and I think we were on like we were definitely on a once a day.
We were.
Definitely, like we would send each other voice memos. Don't you remember?
I remember it being a little bit
More than once a day. I guess there's the reality, and then there's
Here
the,
we are, so we haven't crashed and burned.
Yeah, I would.
Or at least we didn't crash and burn up. Maybe we had a little crash every now and then.
Yeah, but I do think I would. I'm sure that with you, I did try to stay in reality, and I'm sure that I tried to be present. Like if I was with other people or something, I
as
tried
you're
not to
talking,
text.
I keep thinking, like, why is it that I'm teaching Conscious Girlfriend instead of you?
But no.
Okay, that's all for today.